Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, or this afternoon, I'm going to, well, as you can see, I'm headed down the road here, gonna head to town to pick up my kid, and so I figured I would do kind of a POV cruise and discuss as we go along. So I had a request for a video by a gentleman that wanted to know specifically about the Cobb and the OTS tune that it comes with versus the Drunkmann tune OTS that I went with. So I can say that personally I didn't really run the Cobb tune for very long, and it was for reasons. One, the biggest reason was that it was Christmas, and because I got my tuner in just previous to, or I got it on Christmas weekend. And so I did get it installed. All that was great. And I had to run it for that whole weekend. But during those 2 or 3 days that I ran it, yes, it did make a phenomenal difference. And yes, I'm going to say that it's just the Cobb with the stage 1 access, or the stage 1 OTS tune is worth it, you know, just as it sits. I have a bone stock car as far as performance is concerned, aside from this. But during those 2 to 3 days that I ran this, and I run, keep in mind, I only run Shell Premium Nitro V fuel. And I was, I had it on the 91 tune for the first day. And the only reason I had it on that is because I was running 91 octane previous to having this OTS, or having the Cobb, and so I wanted to run that completely down. So I put it on the 91 OTS tune, and I was randomly getting some fine feedback knocks, and every once in a while the dam might drop, but if it dropped, it was only like to like 0.8, 0.9, something like that, and then it'll climb back up. And the feedback knocks I was getting fairly frequent. And I attributed it to probably, in all honesty, some shitty fuel, because whenever I was running 91, the only place I could really get 91 at was Casey's. And I know they don't have the best fuel ever. So fast forward a couple of days, and I went to Shell. I had ran the fuel tank almost empty. I filled it up with 93 octane. I think it was like, I mean, I was like probably damn near on fumes. I think I put like 14.2 gallons or something in it, and we only hold like 14.6, I think. So I put that in there, I drove it for just a little bit, and then I flashed it to the 93 OTS tune. And I ran that for a day and a half, I think it was, at that 93 octane. And even still with the Cobb OTS, I was getting fine feedback knock. And it was just random. Sometimes I would get it if I was trying to pull hard. You know, of course, it's some new toy, I'm playing with it. It might happen whenever I was pulling hard. It might happen whenever I'm like coming down to a rolling slower start, and I know that that's probably not the best to put it underneath that kind of a deeper load. But I was still getting feedback knock, and I actually noticed that my dam on 93 was dropping even further. There were a couple times that I was getting down into the 0.7s and 0.6s, and so quickly I had already been in talks with Melanie Gregory over at Felix Performance, discussing with her about the Drunkmann OTS tune. And she told me that their tuner has went through with this OTS, and they cleaned up all the issues with the feedback knock. It's gonna be very reliable, and that's what I need. This is my daily driver, and so I needed it to be reliable. I didn't want to be hurting anything, so I went ahead and purchased that OTS tune. It was $150 for the Drunkmann tune, and I got the 93 octane. Flashed it in the driveway, took it down the road, and since then, that's been since Christmas, a few days after Christmas. I've had it, you know, a couple months now. It's February 9th. I've never seen my dam come off of 1 since I have put the Drunkmann tune on. Feedback knock, the only time I've ever seen that thing move is whenever I've, you know, probably been in like 5th gear, and I kind of lugged it just a little bit whenever I was slowing down, not paying attention. And so I would get just the slightest bit, but it would drop and then instantly come right back up. And I've never had an issue with it. And I'm running the exact same fuel. I'm running the 93 octane from Shell. And so that's never been an issue since. I will also say, as far as from the power front, going from Cobb's to Drunkmann's was like a whole nother step. If you want to consider them in stages, putting this on and flashing Cobb's be a stage 1, doing the Drunkmann OTS is like a stage 2. It's noticeable. Not only is like the throttle response better, the feedback knock and things like that are no more, but the power curve that this thing gives is phenomenal. So it's definitely well worth the money, in my opinion. So if you're thinking about getting it, I would. I'm gonna run this for quite a while, and I'm waiting for some more performance parts to come in. Whenever I get those performance parts in and bolted on, I'm going to contact Melanie again, and I'm going to have them do like an E Pro Tune, and we're going to see how that works out, see what kind of power we can unlock with this. Sadly, of course, you know, I won't have a dyno to know what the numbers are, but the car is fast enough anyways. It's only going to get faster. You know, eventually down the road, it might be cool to put it on a dyno just to see what kind of numbers it would pull, but whatever, it's not that big of a deal. But I definitely recommend them. I've heard, you know, good things about other tuners as well. I'm not telling you specifically to use Felix Performance, you know, and Drunkmann, but I was asked very specifically about my personal opinion, my thoughts, and, you know, what's happened with me since then. If you're wanting to know like numbers as far as what I get, and it's been fairly cool since then. I don't know if you can see it or not, but my total peak here, which this is delayed, has been 18.3. I've seen as high as 18.5 on the Cobb, but don't let the peak be like the end all be all, because that really doesn't matter. But my average, I would say my average whenever I'm getting into it, with temps down, I've been looking at like mid 16 pounds, somewhere right around in there. 16.4, 16.6 is pretty consistent whenever I get on it, as the average, not the peak, but just overall average. I can pretty well hold 16 pounds non-stop whenever we're laid into it. So that's definitely a hell of a step up, because prior to the carbone stock, you know, I want to say my absolute peak was like 14.2 or something like that, and I mean, I was rodding the piss out of it to get that 14.2, but on average it was around 12s, you know, mid 12s was my peak. And then the Cobb OTS, you know, I might have got up more consistent at 14s as my peak, pretty consistently 14s. I think I tapped like a 15 at one point, and then so of course now we're getting into the Drunkmann tune, and I'm consistently doing average 16s and a half. 17s to 18s are not an issue when you start getting up. Another good thing too is that the rev limiter on this tune specifically goes to 6,500 RPMs, and that 500 may not seem like much, but if you're trying to do a 0 to 60 pull, that now means that you don't have to shift out of second to get to 60. You will bang that red line right at 60 miles an hour in second gear, so that'll shave a little bit off. I have not ran 0 to 60s a whole lot. I don't really care a whole lot. I've done, I think, 3 pulls since I've switched over this Drunkmann, and I'm consistently holding under 5 seconds. I've been holding like 4 9s pretty easily. I think I got a high 4.8 once, 4.8 and then low 4 9s. And I'm sure you could probably beat that if somebody really wanted to get into it. I was not laying into that clutch hard off the line. So the power difference is huge. Everything else as far as cleaning it up, great. I think it's worth it. So Let me know if you guys have the Drunkmann tune, or if you've went with another tune and what you think about it, the numbers that you're getting, the you know, seat feel, you know, in the pants, that hard torque pull. What do you guys feel like? If you guys want to see any other content, if you like this this like point of view head style driving, let me know, and we'll see what else we can talk about. Y'all have a great day.